And today we're working on flow, energy building by letting go of the cues, trying to let go of the verbal cues that I usually offer, as well as the visual cues, and try to get you into a place where you're kinesthetically feeling it inside the body and trying to push yourself to let go of being directed in your Tai Chi and start to actually own your Tai Chi. That's where we're going to go today. So let's start with some really simple things seated. And let's take the saber seated set, because that's one that is nice and easy and the flow. And you can probably feel the flow of the saber. As I was watching the videos that I was editing yesterday and watching the flow that the three of us were doing in the video, it was like, wow, that just looks so fabulous. So I get the same response as people say when they see Tai Chi in the park. It really looks awesome. So what you want to feel like on the inside is what it visually looks like to other people on the outside. And you might not feel comfortable with all the moves, but that's okay. You can fake your way through the ones you don't know and work yourself up to where it eventually becomes seamless. Okay, so let's play. And I'm just going to back up a little bit, grab my saber, and just checking in on that light. I'll try to just move the camera again so you don't have that glare in there. And we'll give you more view of the cat tray. Okay, all right, let me move up. And so seated saber is a nice one because you visually, like you are moving something, and sometimes that just feels good to have that direction in there, especially if you're not familiar with your body enough to feel where things are. So let's start with the bow. And I always start the sessions with a movement pattern to get the flow happening, how to find the deep breath, how to get the sequence to move, and just a signal to the body of where relaxation is. So you've got reach out to the right, hand comes underneath. This is like reach up to 7 stars, lengthen through the spine. You've got up. It's going to come back, changing hands, and then push up. Easy for me to say. Let's just try that again. The pattern just totally left me. Okay, comes up. I think I was thinking about reach up to 7 stars and what that felt like in the back. Okay. So this is going to come out. There we go. Now I know where I am. Sorry. I'm here, which is what I felt like I wanted to do. Okay, so this is going to come down, roll up. Nothing like being live. Up. Let that come around and out. So now you've got fall into the feet and spiral back. Fall into the feet. Spiral back. Fall into the feet. Spiral back. This goes into the right, into the left. So now we're going to go forward if you were walking it. And this is going to push out. Expand through. Opposite. Around. Expand. Roll that up. Changing hands. Hold the flowers. Strike the tiger on the left is how we would know this from Tai Chi. Two hands. Let that come up the middle. And I noticed from the video footage, I do this a little bit different than others. And again, It's okay if you have an instructor that does something slightly different, no problem. You just follow them. This is going to go all the way around. I would spiral up and over. Comes back. And then strike. That's going to cross, open, sink. Okay. Our bow on here, always bringing gratitude back in, making sure that our movements are coming from the highest conscious level we can. Gratitude is where we want to be. Okay, now I did that fairly quick. I did that because we have broken things down into tiny little pieces, and that's great, but you also have to be able to put it into a flow so the muscle memory can be there, and then you can go nice and slow and you can work through the moves, but you also need to be able to get that flow. And what I'm looking for today is not that we need to be faster. What I'm looking for is that you don't think about the moves, you just feel where you want to go next. That gets you out of the verbal cue, gets you out of the brain, visual, and gets you into the body. Where do I want to move next? Okay, so let's play with the first part of Sabre for that flowy bit. Then I'll do it as a standing version. I'll pick a different spot. And again, this is about us trying to get rid of cues. So if you are doing seated, maybe today's your first day, you might not be doing it without cues. You might need cues. But if you've been doing this for a while and you know the set already, but you've been relying on me, then I want you to let that go. Turn yourself a different direction. Hear my voice, but then also even just let that go so you don't have those cues in there. Okay, so I'm going to say the cues for the first bit, and I'm going to start to take my voice out. And you're going to start to rely less on me. Okay, so the first bit is turning to the right. Expand. Lift up through the spine, and then this is going to go up and out, expand, let that open. Then you have right foot, left foot, right foot, out. I'm just going to do the last little part. Separate, lift, sink, roll up, roll down, and bring it around left to right. Okay, so that little flowy bit. Let's try it again. So if you don't need me visually, turn yourself so you're not looking at me. I gave you some clues about lifting, and I gave you awareness in the feet. So you had those visual cues, or those verbal cues, and hopefully you're gaining the awareness. I'm going to do that one more time, and then I'm going to pull it out. Okay, so you have left foot, expand, lift up through the spine, nice and tall. This is going to come out. Push through the feet and sink back. Right foot, left foot. You can feel in the body the change in the rotation. Feet come together in awareness. Spine opens, lengthen, sink. This is going to go down the leg. Roll that up. Right foot underneath. Left foot around. Okay, so I'm hoping you could feel the difference going back and forth between. So now you're going to use those cues, not mine. Obviously, if you have awareness in your right foot, the only place you can go next is awareness in the left. And then you bring awareness back to the right, and then it might be forward because of the move. Okay, so I'm going to be quiet, I'm just going to say begin, and you start. Okay. Now, awareness-wise, could you feel where you needed to move next? Okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to have you this time be aware of inside, because yesterday, the day before Tai Chi 101, we went back to basics, and that's kind of what we're doing here. Yesterday, Tai Chi 102, we went to internals, what's happening on the inside. So now, Tai Chi 103, this is like the advancement of academics. So now what I want you to do is figure out what your internal cues are to know where the movement is going to go. Yes, you have awareness into each foot, but you also have this cross patterning that brings you back and forth. And I want you to link into that cross patterning, okay? I want you to link into any spiral action that happens. We'll do it seated one more time. Okay, so here goes. Okay, so for me, just to give you some ideas of some cues that I'm feeling, and then maybe you felt them or you didn't feel them, but maybe you could. So the first one was you turn to the right, okay, which is fairly easy. But then when the hand goes to drop here, there's a sink and then there's a lift. So you have this drop in the pelvis, and then you have this lift that goes straight up the spine and lengthens every vertebra. So if you're trying to feel that, you're going to feel a connection in your feet, connection with the tailbone, and then this lift and this separation that comes into all of the ribs. And that's going to come up. Okay? So just go back to that little piece again. So there's that lift just before you go forward, and then you can feel the tailbone extend, so you can feel down the length of the back, and then that awareness is going to come back. So you've got into the left, pushes you to the right, and then you'll be ready to push into your right foot to come back and spiral through. But you need the lift in the spine to make a really good solid spine turn and then to spiral back again. So you definitely need to have that feeling inside of what does that feel like and how does the inside feel and how does it feel to come back, because that's going to tell you where you want to go next. Okay, so if you're going to stay seated, stay seated. Let's take it to standing because you might be feeling things a little bit differently. Okay, so this would be sink. So right there is where the spine is going to get longer. The tailbone drops. So it's happening while this is going out. And then you have this extension underneath the arm. If there's any tightness in the tissue under the arm, you're going to find it right here. And that's good to know because that should be completely open. Then when we have step pas quoi, you're going to open the whole left side and then take the weight. Toe goes out. And now you have a length. And again, the opportunity to expand the back. Step back, pas quoi, which is down into that right leg, touch, and then pushing out of the right leg, the spiral action of the hand matches the foot, and the spiral back down unwinds through the arm. Step with the left foot, and that would be push out of the right into the left. Pointing the right toe has a lift up, so there's an expansion in your waist, and the ribs separate from the pelvis. Then you go down into the left leg. Roll up, comes through the legs, expand, sink, comes back through, which comes up, step into the corner, and this is going to spiral around. Okay. So now if you're exploring this for that particular set of movements, I want you to feel the flow back and forth and also between the feet. So I'll give you the cues to push from your feet again, but please try not to watch me. Try more to listen to the cues and see if you can move yourself into those spaces. I'm just going to move myself over so I'm hoping not into the table so much. Okay, so sink, down, spine opens. Left hip can then open up, touch the foot, lift, out the top of the head, expand and separate. Step back, pas quoi. Sink down into the right, take the weight. Spiral out of the right, down into the right. Step with the left foot, and this is going to push out. Left hand comes up, right toe's going to the corner, and you're going to sink down on the left foot, roll up, sink down on the right foot, roll up, sink down on the left foot, spiral from the left to the right. Okay. So now let me take the verbal out, and you're going to try to just walk that little sequence through. I'm going to do it as well. If you need to check to see if we're kind of in the same ballpark, great, but you're really looking at what are your internal cues. What are your cues from your foot? What is the spiral action that you're feeling? Okay, so here goes. All right, so I hope you could feel some of the coordination of that. Okay, let's take the second part. Seated is pretty easy with this one because it's a forward motion into your feet and then sit up really straight so that the spine rotation is happening with a straight back. We're going to do it, I'm going to do it facing you moving, well, kind of facing you moving back. I'll run out of room if I do it that way. Okay, so I've just come around. I'm going to turn the blade over, push into the right foot, open the spine, and then push from that right foot to sink back into the left. Feel down into that left hip, turn the blade over, step, and we have talked about the different positions of the hands change the pelvis. So the combination of hand with hip are really important in this movement. Doesn't seem like you're doing very much, but you are. Sink. One more. And push back. Okay, so now this is going to go step forward, spiral out of the right into the left, out of the left, back into the right. Turn that over and spiral forward. Step with your right foot, spiral back. Push out of the right, down into the left, turn, turn, expand, open the spine. Okay, so that one really plays on the actions that we did yesterday and trying to get an understanding of the belly moving first. And we talked about that great big opening that comes through the hip. Okay, so that little piece is happening in this sequence right here as well. And we played with it in the Tai Chi set, we played with it in low cut. So it appears everywhere, which obviously is very important. Okay, so let's try that sequence again. I'm going to focus on belly cues this time, rather than the foot and the hands. And you're going to focus on what does it feel like internally, okay? So if we push out, turn it over. So belly turns to the left, you follow. Belly turns to the right, you follow. Left, right. Belly leads you, and then it's going to be turn, expand. Okay, it's a lot going on internally. That'll give you that little belly cue to try to get this to come through. It'll be a nice snaky, spirally piece. Okay, so now let's do that same thing. This time I'm not going to say anything at all. You're just going to experience it. Okay, so we're pushing into the right foot. Okay. Hopefully that gets you a nice smoothness and flow that comes through. Okay, so let's do one more pattern from here because it's a turning pattern. And I know low cup has a lot of turns in it, and they're very, very important for opening up the pelvis. And so not wanting to do them because you're trying to watch the camera isn't a good thing. You want to be able to take it inside and start to make them your own because you need those turns. They're important. Saber here, I think it's easier because you can see where I'm going to take the saber. I think that might give a little bit more assistance for changing direction. Okay, so I'm going to just face to the side. I'm going to do the sequence that turns around, and then I'll do it also coming back. Okay, so this is just a little bit further into the set. Okay, so this is step pas croix with your right foot, and that expands across. Now, internally, what are you going to notice? There's going to be a pull that's going to go right across the body, and I can feel it in my lower back. As I start to open that up, step pigeon-toed means I'm going to open in my lower back, sink down into the left, step, and then this is going to spiral around. Plant the foot, drop the saber, push up out of the right foot, let that release all the way through the top of the body, sink, place the left foot, and then straight out into a toyu, which is squaring the hip. But then you're going to go open that hip, expand it into an opposite action, in, sink, step straight, and it's another toyu, which is going to square the hip around. Okay? So that little pattern has you changing directions, which is important, just changing directions, but it also has opening up in the pelvis and in the shoulders, then closing it all back up again, and then open it, and you have the squaring of the hip. Okay, so let's try it again. So you've got step pakwa, in, sink, step straight, and this is going to come out. Down into your right foot, push up, all the way around, sink, step with the left foot, push out. Pakwa, in, sink, down to the hip, and out. Okay, so now I gave you the directions all the way through that. You may have been trying to watch me. It's not easy to do and do this move. You got to let go of visual. So let's let go of visual and verbal, and you just step and feel it. You know how you want to move. You have a pakwa, you have a pigeon toe, turn it in, and then you have a straight. Okay, pattern's always the same. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, one more time. I just feel like the whole inside has just been moved in so many directions. It's really delightful. Here we go. Pakwa. Let yourself feel each direction, how you go up and down out of your hip, how you spiral and use all of the muscles, and then how you change the tissue. All right. Okay, that gives you some smoothness, which I feel sometimes when you use the saber, it gives you just a little bit more. Yesterday we did move hands like clouds, and the reason we did that is all of the actions we were trying to put in. It's a delightful one to really get into the flow yourself, and I've done that several times across the series, across our whole time together. Okay, so let's just think about one hand. So that right hand, and I'm going to just work it through the body. Down in the right. Spiral, up out of the left. Spiral. Down in the right. Into the left. Out of the left. Sink. Turn. Spiral. You can see how this matches what we were just doing in saber. And if I don't move my feet, then I can see how the action comes together. And just my hips just finally let go. So when I sunk down here into that right foot, all of a sudden the left knee was like, oh, I could relax. And it just let go. Okay, one more time. Sink. Now, if you're familiar with figure eight patterns, you could see where that's coming down and through and back up. Okay, so let's do the left hand. So that would be down, into the right, push out, sink, Lower back is opening and expanding. I'm feeling something in the heel of my left hand that's a little bit tight. Doesn't want to quite move. So again, that's an awareness. There's something that's not quite moving the way it should. And since it's hurting a little bit, I'm just going to back it up just a little bit. See if by backing it up, I get a little bit better flow. Sometimes we think we should work it a little bit harder. It's going to be very gentle. And now there's this beautiful rhythm that you'll start to establish between your feet. And that rhythm is pumping back to the core of the body. And then sink. All right, so now we're going to put the two together. So if it's hard for you to know how to do each one, do them separately. Then you can always put them together later. And if it's a struggle to put them together, it tells you right sides of the brain aren't always coordinating. That's good to know for the rest of your life because there's a lot of important things you might be missing by that missing of coordination. Okay, so sink. Push through. Sink. Lower back's going to open. The knees will figure out a rhythm for releasing, transferring weight, awareness into a foot to bring you back. Now, if you notice pain anywhere, just go smaller. Pattern is still there. It's just in a micro movement. So it can be very tiny. All right. So inside, you can feel how that core is moving very similar to saber. And it's coming through your Tai Chi movement. And your internal organs will be very happy. Okay, so let's add feet. So if you go down into the right leg, left steps out, feet are straight forward. Slide across into the left. Plant down into the foot, place the foot, push. This goes up, over, sink. Place the foot, glide across, sink. Place the foot, push. It's coming up and over, sink. Open, comes across. Place the foot, up. So you were doing this while you were massaging back and forth between your feet. But now what you're doing is actually moving sideways at the same time. And this is just changing a little bit more dynamically. You have a connection in your right leg, disconnect with the left, and then it connects. And then a disconnect, and then it reconnects. Okay. All right, so let's add the hands in. So you're going to go down on your right, come across to the left. Push out of the left, cross to the right. Push. Just feel that come right through the body. Open and expand. Nice and gentle. This one is working all dimensions together. It's also linking right both sides of the brain in a very different pattern that you would use in your everyday life. This pattern can be very powerful. If you find it hard to coordinate, it's telling you to spend more time at it because it's so important all the way across. Right, okay. So now what I can do is I can turn around so you can see the sink and the rise, and hopefully that'll help too. So you're down on your right, comes across. Push out of the left, into the right. out of the left, and last one. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of diving into fluid movement with that one. So let's go to what we did yesterday, which was end of low cup, where those hands glide across, and we were working on what the pelvis feels like coming through the center and letting it go. So today what I want you to do is feel it yourself, so you know that entire sequence, you could do it on your own, okay? And it would be step with your right foot, and this is just going to be float across. Step and float. Then you have step patois, belly goes, toe heel, patois, toe heel, patois, put your heel out, now it's going to come around, sink, open the spine, this comes through, step, this comes through, now step your foot straight forward, cross the hands, do a nice rise up, open the spine, and this is going to be one-legged doggy. So you sink on your right leg, heel, toe, rise up on your toes, sink down onto your right foot, palm, palm, step left foot to the other direction, right foot spirals, open, and then sink. Okay, so let's do that going the other direction. And just gonna, I've got a couple pop-ups here, means I cannot see the whole screen. Okay, so step with your right foot, push through. Step left. Right. Belly goes left, right, left, right. Toe heel. Heel goes out, sink. Here's number 3. Step your foot to the back, sink, sink. Sink. Okay. Hopefully you found the fluidity of that. It's another good pattern to be able to bring in there. Okay, let's go to we did that whole first part of low cup. Let's go to this one, which we worked on a couple weeks ago, where you sink back and you turn, then you go out. Then you sink, you come around, reach out, open and expand, and then you do 2 reaches, wipe your table and come up. Let's do that little piece. And the reason is, again, you have to change directions, which I'm looking at trying to find you patterns that you can start to use what you know, use how you feel, and not be afraid to change positions. Okay, and to be able to let your visuals go, let your verbals eventually go, so you can just do it on your own. Okay, so let's use that because we have to keep changing directions. That's a good one. So you step with your right foot, right hand goes out, left hand is going to block down below. Push into your right foot and then push into the left, into the right. It expands your back to sink back into the left. The spiral is going to come all the way through the spine, and then it's engaging also in your right hip to open. Step. This is going to come out from the center, and when it comes out from the center, I can often feel it come right through the body. So this is a turn, crack, 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 spiral all the way around, step open, expand, turn the right heel, hold the ball. I come straight up, but I have a lamp right there. This is going to reach up left, reach out right, sink back, turn, and then lift, up, 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 sink on the end. Okay, I'll change direction in case that helps. Let's try it this way. So right hand out, left hand is a block. Sink back into your left. Hand goes past your face. Open that whole right leg. Step. This is going to push out. Expand. Over the top. Step open. Expand. Turn your right heel. Hold the ball. Sink into the right. Reach out to the left. Hold the ball. Reach out to the right. Sink. Opening the hip. Open the hip. Rise up. Lift, 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 lift. Sink. Expands the back. Okay. So, once again, I don't know about these pop-ups. They drive me crazy. Okay. All right. So, I'm hoping that one feels pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it again. I don't want you to watch me. I just want you to try it. Okay? I'll try not to cue too much. I guess I'll intuitively know if I need to say something. I'm going to change my direction again. So I had done like this direction, but I'm actually going to change it this way in case it's a better piece that you'll need later. Sink. Flow back. Expand. Open. Reach. Okay. One thing I would like to explain here. When the hands come out from the center, there's an opening that happens in the body that you don't get every other way. So if I was to do a Donyu this way, right here is about where I would have to stop because my back would not be opening any further. It would lock. And I can feel that because my knees will stop right there. And then I would have to lean forward. I go like this. That'd be about it. And I'd have to come back up. If I went any further, I would have to lean forward, which means I'm just hinging at my hip. I'm not opening my back. Not much value to go any further. This particular movement, when you bring the hand and funnel it out from the center, there's a different kind of opening that happens. And it may look like I'm going more forward. However, I am actually opening in my back in a way I can't get in the regular Danyu. And I can feel my back opening. So if you see me going down low, it's not because you need to go down lower. It means my back opened. If your back isn't opening, don't go any further. You might be like here. And there are lots of days where my back, or my knees, tell me that's it. That's as far as I can go. So it might be here and then open, which is fine. But I just want you to know that there's a difference, but it's what do you notice on the inside. You have to notice how your back is feeling. And if your spine continues to lengthen, I can really feel that I have the control and I have the space in my legs to be able to do that. So I just want you to know about that so you don't overextend yourself. You go to a place of pain, you went too far. You always have to be less than getting to the place of pain. So you just really want to watch that. Okay, so let's finish off with a movement pattern that's nice and simple. Let's go with the first 17 moves from Tai Chi. And you're going to try to do it without watching me. And I'm going to give you a couple of cues so we stay together. But other than that, just really feel the movements and be comfortable with them. If you're seated, just remember your hands are going forward. You're not trying to turn your body to follow me. You're just keeping everything straight forward. Okay, so just trying to think of where, probably face this way, so not into the table. Okay, commencement. To the right. Hold the ball. Square. Hold the ball. Square. Hand, foot, glide. White stork. Brush knee. Brush knee right. Brush knee left. Brush knee left. Hold on to that. Twist step. Hold the flowers. Step patois. Left parry punch. Two hands. Sink. Beautiful. Okay, so as we come to the last couple of lessons before we hit 108, take the time to find out where you have some challenges. send me a message if there's anything you want to hear from me between now and then. We have 5 lessons to put that together, and I'll make sure that I'm talking about those pieces. I'm happy to share any information or insights that you're looking for on a particular topic. And please try to make Tai Chi yours. Bring it inside, make it your practice, understand what feels good for you and how you know you're starting to flow and get that creation coming through. Okay, have a good rest of your Friday. I will see you on Saturday. Take care.